Have you ever opened a hive and found it like this? This particular box isn't one from my colony, from my apiary, but I did have one of my hives that I found just yesterday, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. Hey, this is John from Two Doves Bees and Gardens. Just wanted to touch base with you today and share a little story and maybe learn some things together with you. Let me show you what I've got here first, kind of get some information. This is a queen. Let me bring her over and let you take a look at her. I'll show you on the screen here, and let me tell you why she is in this clip. Got a little worker in there with her. A couple of days ago, I was sitting here at my desk. You're in my office here with me, and I don't normally sit here on the couch. There's a desk across the way, but I was sitting at my desk and looked out the window and I happened to notice a lot of bees. Just a lot of bees flying by, and we see bees from time to time, but I'm a good distance away from the bee yard, so we don't see them in that quantity, that number, very frequently up here. So just a light bulb went off. I was like, what is going on? So I went out to take a look, went to take a peek in the bee yard, and I'd made a mistake. I'd made a mistake that morning. There's a beehive that's right outside of my back fence. It's probably, I'd say, 75 feet from where we're sitting right now. And was out there in the morning. I'd moved a hive from one location to another, doing some, kind of organization out there in the bee yard. And I came across one of my hives, really strong hive, great hive. This queen had done really fantastic. This queen, you might be getting the gist, is from that colony. I had gone up to this colony and noted that I had closed off the upper entrance. And it's like, oh, well, I was thinking to myself, well, the bees can use that upper entrance. Let me go ahead and open that. So I opened it up, walked away, didn't think twice about it. Rookie mistake. We often get questions about, what is this robbing? We see these pictures and these videos of robbing. Are my bees robbing? Is my hive being robbed? And you often see a lot of bees out in front of the hive, and 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, what we see in pictures and people are asking about is orientation flights. A lot of bees, get born every day, and typically they come out roughly about the same time. Each hive is a little bit different, but it's roughly going to be about the same time, and do their orientation flights. So it kind of there's a lot of bees out there and they're all flying around the entrance. So I can understand why people have that question. Robbing is a lot different. Let me kind of describe what I saw when I went out there. I went out and immediately knew I had a problem. The upper entrance that I had opened up earlier, it was probably within an hour, is now being jam-packed with lots of bees trying to get in and out. There's actually almost a cluster of bees trying to get in that upper entrance. And basically what had happened is that upper entrance wasn't being protected. There was no need for the hive to protect it. It was closed off. And when I took that and opened it, there were no guard bees up there. And another hive found that upper entrance, or another bee or a number of bees found that upper entrance, and that was where the honey frames were. It was basically an empty super we had given back to that hive to have them clean up. So it was empty, but they found it, and they found their way in, and it was unprotected. And there was lots and lots of bees just trying to pile in. And then I looked down at the entrance, same thing, just a huge number of bees trying to get into the entrance. And the bees that are from the home hive, the one that's being robbed, are doing their best to protect the situation. Um, so what did I do? What do you do when you find that situation? Um, I have often heard about, make it rain. And so I went and grabbed a sprinkler. Luckily, it was on right on the backside of my fence. Turned on the sprinkler, tried to, you know, reduce the number of bees. Trying to decrease that robbing scenario situation. Um, Came into the workshop, found a couple pieces of screened off that upper entrance, found some more screened off the bottom, the actual entrance. Just we left a space about this much for the bees to go in and out, and thinking that the home bees would be able to protect that small space. Um, and then that seemed to decrease the robbing situation. The bees kind of went back to normal. Things in the yard went back to normal. A lot of bees flying, but we got a lot of hives. But that hive seemed to have calmed down. Back to what I would consider more a normal look to it. So I said I'll come back on the weekend and check and see what's going on, to see how they're doing. Keeping an eye on it. I took a peek over the past couple of days, just kind of taking a look to see what's going on. And I saw a couple bees coming and going, but nothing like a robbing situation. I figured it was the home bees that were just, doing their thing, coming, taking their normal activities. And then yesterday wasn't a good day. I woke up with a huge headache, and there's some other things going on around the house, some things that needed my attention. But I got out there. It was probably about 10 o'clock yesterday morning, and went out and checked that hive. Popped the top. Had 4 boxes on that hive, 2 honey supers, and then 2 deep and a medium for a brood chamber. Top box, got into it. There's maybe 1 or 2 bees in there, not a lot. Looked at all the frames, all looked good. Looked like it had been repaired from our honey extraction. And so I got that, took that box off, it was all good, set it aside, got down to the next box, looked at it. Same thing, honey extraction looked like it had been repaired. The bees that were in that hive had done a good job, but it was all empty, and I figured, they probably moved it down to, their brood chamber, getting ready for winter. Got down to the next box, and I'm thinking, wow, there are just not too many bees here. And so I looked a little bit further, just kind of peeking, just seeing what I can see through the slats between the frames, and there's just no bees. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I just thought I was able to save that hive from the robbing, and it looks like the robbing just decimated this hive. So I looked at the ground in front of the hive just to see if I could see, the devastation. Normally you're going to, a lot of fighting, robbing, going to end up with a lot of dead bees. I didn't see a single dead bee out front. That's odd. Okay, we'll get down, check all those frames, and I'm starting to notice as I get down to that box, the 3rd box down, the frames have been robbed out, and you can tell the difference. If you haven't seen a robbed out frame, I wish I should have pulled one over versus a normal piece of comb. The robbed out frames, the wax is torn and tattered. You can see the bits of wax cappings and etc. And it's an obvious look when you see it. You can tell. So I started looking, and all of the frames are robbed out. There's no larva, no capped brood, no bees, no nothing. It's like, wow. So really surprised. So I get down to the bottom, expected to get down to the bottom board to find a lot of dead bees down there. There were none. Just, I say, it's almost like, rapture, gone, bees, all flew away. Except I got down there and I found Her Majesty here. She was sitting on one of the frames, just walking around. There was probably about a dozen bees left in the whole box, and she was one of them. And I just don't know for the life of me, why she's there with a couple of bees, but nobody else. Everybody else flew the coop. So it's just a mystery to me. I don't understand it. I'll probably ask a few people that have been beekeeping a little bit longer than me if they've ever seen this situation. I got down to that bottom box, and I did find that there were some wax moths and probably some hive beetles had moved in. Not too many hive beetles, by the way. Even through this whole scenario, the uh, the hive was sitting on a beetle buster baseboard. So there, I might have seen one or two, even when the hive was fully populated. The beetle busters actually work really well. But there was some wax moth damage, and they'd moved in. And I don't know if they'd moved in, as quickly as just a couple days. Um, and so they've probably been in there for a while, and I probably just missed it. I hadn't gotten down to that bottom box, the very bottom of that four stack, in a little while. And that may be a reason why these bees were gone. I don't understand why all the bees were gone except for the queen. They left the queen behind. I don't understand. So anyway, I'm going to ask about that and see if I can get some other perspectives on it. But I wanted to share that with you. When things go wrong in the bee yard, I wanted to encourage you, take your time. Things are going to happen. Bees are bees. They're wild, venomous creatures, I've heard said. And you never can say with bees. We do our best, but things are going to happen. But take heart, take your time. See what goes. If you have a hive something goes wrong, try to understand what happened. Take the resources that you have left available, and take care of them. And in this situation, I've got 40 frames that I've pulled off of that hive, and I immediately put them into the freezer. I'm going to save them for winter, through winter. Going to make sure that the pests are dealt with. Anything that's salvageable, I'll bring in and put on wax moth crystals and have it ready for spring. And that'll be another resource that another hive will get to take advantage of. Anyway, just wanted to share my story, share a little bit of info, and hope that you can learn something as well as I can. Anyway, I appreciate you taking the time, and look forward to speaking with you again soon. And thanks. This has been John from True Doves Bees.